What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another post-game live stream. How's everyone doing in the chat? We got Jason, we got Cook It Up, we got Novaclap, we got my boy Money Matt, my boy Willie P, got Joe Lee, and King Jaja. Damn, man, I feel your exact pain. What's up?
Hi.
Hi, I'm streaming.
Oh, you're streaming?
Yeah.
Okay,
What's up?
food's gonna be ready soon if you're hungry.
Do you need to bring me a bowl?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Where was Jimmy Moreland? Didn't trust him, apparently. Didn't trust him. Let's get into my thoughts on the game, man. I think the thing that everyone wants to talk about is Davis Mills and the play calling. And, I think they were right to have the training wheels on him for the beginning of the game. I think they were right to do that. I mean, you don't want to have him, just get his confidence completely shook, get sacked, throw picks early on in the game. You want to ease him into it. So I thought that was okay. I thought that's what they should have done. Now, did they execute very well? No. But that was mainly because the offensive line couldn't block worth a damn. So I thought the play calling was okay in the first quarter. And then the second quarter, we saw what the potential maybe could be when they went hurry up for the 2-minute drill and play with some tempo. And the Panthers don't have perfect coverage. I mean, there's a reason why they blitz so much, because they want you to get rid of the ball quickly because they know their corners can't hold up. And so Brandon Cooks was uncoverable. Mills was able to find him in the holes in their zone, so that was good. And they capped it off with a good play call by Tim Jelly in the end zone. Love that. And I thought they just should have kept going with that in the second half. And they started too many drives off with a run. When the run blocking was just not there, they were getting beaten up in the trenches. Derek Brown was unblockable. Morgan Fox was great. I think Justin Britt, Max Sharping probably played probably their worst game of the season, along with Titus Howard, unfortunately. That's my guy, but I mean, I'm going to call it how it is. They couldn't block for the run worth a damn. And so Phillip Lindsay left out to dry. Mark Ingram left out to dry. I can't even hate on the running backs because they had no damn help. So, at the end of the day, they only ran it 16 times compared to throwing it 28 times. So, I mean, it didn't seem that bad in the box score, but it's about, the momentum of the game. That's what is so important about calling plays. Understanding, where you're getting more yards, where you're not getting more yards, and you just can't keep forcing something that isn't working. So, I thought Tim Kelly could have done a bit better of a job there. The O-line was horrible. The tight ends blocking was horrible. Pharaoh Brown had some bad plays. Had a bad first miss block on that end around to Cooks. And had a holding penalty. It was not a well-executed game. It was not. Jerome, my man with the $7, he says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results. AKA our run game. That was a run game. Yes, sir, Jerome. Jerome, my man, dropping them wisdom bombs. It was not good. It was not good. And because of that, Mills was not set up for success. He had a lot more third and longs than you would like. A lot more second and longs than you would like. There we go. He took a lot of hits. It was 5 or 6 sacks, I believe. Over 10 hits. So the conservative game plan that Tim Kelly tried, it worked in a sense where Mills looked composed and he didn't throw any picks, but he still got hit. He still got sacked. And so, there's two sides to this. One saying that, yeah, you could have, I think, in certain moments, let him rip it a bit more. But also, if you started off aggressive from the very, very beginning, Mills could have been damn near killed out there. It would have been even worse in terms of the sacks and stuff. So, I think first half I wasn't too mad at the play calling, but second half, especially that third quarter, it was just so conservative. And I think it peaked really with David Culley not going for it on 4th and 4. It would have been a 50, I think they said 58-yard field goal, so I kind of get not going for that, especially because Joey Slye just missed the extra point. But 4th and 4, Mills had been picking up those short yardages. I just think you have to play to win and not playing not to lose. That's essentially what they did on that call. And that's how Culley has been this entire season so far through these 3 games. He has not gone for it on 4th down once. And they've all been short. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Willie. They've all been fourth in short situations. Willie Boy P with the $5 donation. Thank you, my guy. He says Mills, X, Miller, and Cooks was all of our production this game. Running and not going for it wasn't the answer after halftime. Yeah, man. I liked what I saw out of Anthony Miller. He looked like he had some juice. I think he needs to get a little bit more comfortable in the playbook. But he was getting open. And it seemed that Mills wanted to go to him. Him and Cooks, man, they couldn't cover him. They could not cover him. They were wide ass open, giving Mills a lot of wide open throwing windows to hit him. So respect to Cooks, respect to Miller. Fans are legit booing. That's so sad to see. It's really sad to see. I thought that, no, it was not the best game. It was not the best coached game. It was not the best executed game. But if you're a Texans fan, there was no reason to boo tonight. Cully coaching like it's the 1980s. Cully got to go. Oof. Cully losing some fans after tonight. I was not a fan of David Cully hire. I think he's grown on me a little bit, but I still don't think he's going to be the guy to win us the Super Bowl, to lead us to the Super Bowl. And that's, that's how I see a lot of these decisions. And maybe that's for the right, maybe it's for the wrong. I mean, you can be the judge of that, but I always kind of look at things in the scope of building up to the Super Bowl, building up to a playoff contender, building up to win the chip. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. I don't care how many division titles we win. I don't care if we have a winning season, if we're above 500. If we're not in an upward trajectory to an end goal of the Super Bowl, I'm a little upset. And maybe that's stupid. Call me stupid if you want. But that's how I see the game, man. That's how I see the game. I don't even know how I got to that point already. I don't remember. I have horrible short-term memory. But let's continue to talk about the offense, man. Davis Mills. He looked better than I thought. Still not an amazing day, but I like that he didn't really make too many glaring mistakes. He finished, let me show you all the box score. He finished 19 for 28. Box score. There you go. Box score. Davis Mills, 19 for 28. Efficient day. Let me calculate what the completion percentage is there. 19 divided by 28 for a 67.8% completion percentage. So if you're a big completion percentage guy, there you go. But it was only for 168 yards, and he only averaged 6 yards per throw. Now, I think there's a little bit of blame to be put on both parties. Definitely the play calling, giving him a conservative game script, giving him the quick game, not asking him to do too much. But it's also on Mills for not connecting on some throws. And I think he obviously didn't play a perfect. You know what? I'm not gonna go there because y'all are gonna think I'm hating. He obviously didn't play a perfect game, but it was better than I would expect for a third-round rookie making his first start on a short week on Thursday Night Football versus the top defense in the league. He did better than I expected, and I will own that. You guys know I'm not the highest on Mills, but I will always be truthful and call things how they are, in my opinion. Lonely? Yes, I am, Pat. Yes, I am. Oh, I don't need to show you that. Pat, get on in the Discord. Get your ass in there. I'm a little down. I need a little pick-me-up. I need my boy, Patty Storm. Follow him. If you aren't. Where's my Discord? Where is my Discord? Discord. Why can't I type? Okay, this is not a good start. There's Discord. Alrighty. We got the one and only Patrick Storm in here in 1 second. Who we play next? That's a good question. Play the Bills next, I believe. It's either the Bills or the Patriots. Alright, we're going to get Patrick Storm in here, get his thoughts on the game. Here we are. Pat, how you doing tonight, man? Alright, as Pat gets ready, I'll talk to y'all. Embrace the tank, y'all. What the hell? I mean, a loss is a loss, but I'm never someone to root for a tank. Ooh, it looks like Pat's in here. Let's go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfect.
What's up, man?
Oh, I wish tonight went differently. But big grand scheme of things, this is kind of what we expected. So it hurts to see an L every single time. But how you feeling, Pat?
I mean, I'm gonna take the good with the bad, man. Like, there was a lot of stuff that obviously could have gone better. The secondary just, I don't know, they flat out suck.
Yeah.
You can't. I understand the scheme and I understand what Lovey is asking them to do, but you can't continuously let DJ Moore beat you in the middle like he's doing. Yeah, they clamped down Robbie Anderson, but he's on the tail end of his career. It's nothing to be excited about. Between Eric Murray and Lonnie back there, they desperately missed Justin Reed.
Yep.
They miss Grugier Hill in the middle. They miss, but you can't blame the injuries for tonight. They had enough guys out there. They had enough talent to stop that offense, especially once McCaffrey went out, and they failed to do so. They didn't adjust. They didn't do what they needed to do. I like what I saw out of the offense on a lot of things. The offensive line was pretty disappointing tonight.
Yep.
Honestly, and I get it that that front seven for the Panthers is top notch, man. I mean, they've invested how many draft picks in them over the past few years. I think they spend an entire draft class on the defense just recently.
Yes, sir. Not last year, but the year before. Yep.
Extremely young, and then you got J.C. Horn for this year. I hope he's going to be okay. They're saying he's going to probably miss the rest of the year with a broken bone in his foot. That's unfortunate, but they've invested heavily in their defense, and so tonight was going to be that true test for the offense to see what they're really capable of. And it sucked. Tim Kelly was really bland in his play calling.
Yep.
Davis Mills he did okay. I mean, he wasn't great. He didn't light the world on fire, but he didn't turn the ball over, and he looked poised. I mean, he got flushed out of the pocket on that one sack that he took, and that was completely on him. I think if he had stayed in the pocket, he wouldn't have gotten hit like he did.
Yep.
The fourth sack that he took, in my opinion, they should have thrown a flag because he got hit in the helmet. Not on the hit itself, but on a defensive lineman's hand hit him in the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And by rule, that's a flag. I think that they missed that one, but what are you going to do, man? It's one of those things you're not going to get every call. It
was bad on both sides. The flags, yeah.
Dude, Matt Rule was getting heated on his sideline because of some of the flags that were getting called. I mean, all in all, I didn't expect them to win.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a little bit closer
Me too.
than it was. But it is what it is at this point. This is what this team is going to be this year. Hopefully, they can put some things together and next week and turn it around against the Bills.
Exactly. It's all about being on, an upward trajectory. I think we started off hot versus the Jags. We've taken some hits, but it's all about the bounce back. It's all about the counter punch. And for Mills, definitely, I think that's the guy we got to be focusing on. Taking the good with the bad, like you said. He wasn't a dumpster fire out there. Didn't light the league on fire either, but I think he exceeded most people's expectations and played, probably for the circumstances, like a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 type of game. So hopefully we can see some more. Hopefully Tim Kelly takes the training wheels off more for Davis Mills, especially because of how porous the run game was. And Pat, you said it tonight, the offensive line was just disappointing. I mean, we're paying these guys big bucks in terms of Laramie Tunsil. We've invested capital with Titus Howard, with Max Sharping. And it seemed like it could be better in the early part of the season, and we were giving James Campen a lot of credit, but I think we just haven't taken that next step yet against an elite defense like the Panthers, and it was disappointing to see for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was frustrating to watch some of the stuff that was happening tonight. Week one, they came out and the offensive line looked really good. They were opening up holes that Mark Ingram was able to get down the field and get to the next level. Last week they did some really good things. They kept Tyrod and Davis Mills clean for the most part.
Yep.
They shut down two really good pass rushers in Clowney and Garrett. And then tonight it was just like, I don't know, they just completely fell off. And so let's see what they can do against Buffalo next week, man. I mean, we know Buffalo's still got a really good defensive front.
Yep.
And I'm really hoping Stephon Diggs has an off week.
Yeah, I think one thing to talk about the offensive line, I guess, and I guess this kind of goes to the whole team. I don't want to use it as an excuse, but definitely playing on the short week doesn't help. And now having this kind of mini bye with the extra 3 days off versus the Bills, there should be no excuses whatsoever for the execution or for the coaching next week. You have these extra days, don't let them go to waste. Use it to make the best game plan possible, and be ready to adjust. That was another good thing that you said, Pat, is that out of the second half, it seemed like there were no adjustments by Tim Kelly, by Lovie Smith. And that's frustrating to watch because so much of the NFL game, like, there's a talent gap, obviously, but it's not as big as people make it out to be. And so much of it is based off of coaching. That's what separates, the good teams from the elite teams from the bad teams. And so I just would have liked to see more on that part. How would you grade both of our coordinators for this game? Out of 10, if you had to give them both a number grade.
They both get a 3. And I like Tim Kelly. I like some of the things that he's done in the past. I feel like he's got a good future ahead of him.
Yeah.
And I think you said something about training wheels earlier on in the night. But it really seemed evident that there were some training wheels on the offense. Running the ball on 2 consecutive downs and then getting 3rd and long, and then the defense knows you're going to have to pass the ball, so they can just sit back and they can drop 8 into coverage. That's going to kill you every single time. I think that dynamic is stupid and it doesn't work. It was pretty obvious from the jump tonight that the offensive line wasn't getting the push.
Yep.
So why continue to try that? I think Lovey has got to do a much better job of getting us out of Tampa 2, getting into that cover 2 scheme and getting guys in the middle of the field instead of letting guys like DJ Moore just continue to torch the secondary. Lonnie Johnson is not built to play safety. He's slow. He had the one tonight where he got so lucky. I don't remember who. I think it was Chuba was motioned across and then ran that little route into the flat, and Lonnie just looked like he was daydreaming, and luckily Chuba dropped it, or else it would have been a touchdown earlier. But I don't know, man. I think safety needs to be a big focus for this team moving forward. Get rid of Murray, get rid of Lonnie, find somebody to pair with Justin, and kind of anchor down the back end of the defense there.
Wow, so you are out on Lonnie. No cornerback Lonnie and no safety Lonnie either. Do you think that is more of a... Do you think that's more on Lonnie to blame or on the coaching staff to blame for, kind of messing with his development and then, I don't know, just kind of hurting his confidence as well, not being a starter over Eric Murray? Where would you place the blame? If, like, say 50% on Lonnie, 50% on the coaching?
Yeah, I'd say it's a good combination of both, honestly. Yeah. Not to say that Lonnie hasn't put in the work, because he has, right? Like, Lonnie's gone, and he's done a lot of off-season work with some specialists around the country, and tried to get better, right? Like, Lonnie has absolutely tried to get better. I just don't think he possesses the ability to be a starting defensive back in this league. He's not fast enough, and today's NFL is built around speed. I mean, you look at some of the offenses like Kansas City that they're going to face, and even tonight, he doesn't possess that ability to stay in front of these guys or stay with these guys. Yeah, it's okay that he can sit back and play safety, let the play develop in front of him. But when they get into short yarded situations, red zone stuff like that, he's just too slow to react, and it costs him. So yeah, I just don't. I mean, I just don't see how they can retain Lonnie moving forward unless something just clicks here in the last part of the season, and he shows us something. But then he's got to be able to maintain it. That's the thing.
And that's the thing is, even if he does start playing well, I don't know that the coaching staff will start him over Eric Murray once Justin Reed comes back. I don't know if he's going to be given the chance again, unless he's getting like 2 interceptions every game and just really performing to the point where you can't possibly bench him again. But it doesn't seem like this coaching staff trusts him, and That seems to be kind of an overarching thought. I thought for this game is the sense that I got, especially for not only Lonnie Johnson, but I think Davis Mills. I know we talked about the training wheels a lot, and it's hard for me to believe that Tim Kelly sees this run game go as bad as it does, and still try and ram his head into that thought and still try and do it. Do you think it's more of him actually just being that, hard headed, or do you think it's that, it's the first game, let's just keep the training wheels on. We don't really trust Mills too much yet. Like, where do you think Tim Kelly is leaning there?
I think with a proper week of preparation, they can do some things,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
I think he showed some stuff tonight. He showed the ability to escape some pressure.
Yep.
He looked like he was pretty difficult to get to the ground if they're going to arm tackle and stuff like that. A little Big Ben-esque. I'm not going to, I mean, he's definitely not Big Ben yet. But some of the stuff that, where he was able to escape the defenders, their grasp and stuff like that, reminded me of Big Ben and how he's kind of difficult to tackle.
Yep.
So I think they can kind of build on that, man. And, they got the extra days of preparation, film study, installing a game plan, and just actually being able to work together. He goes from being a backup quarterback to Tyrod, who is playing really well, to suddenly being thrust into the game in a hostile environment in Cleveland, and then going on a short week with no real practice and simply walkthroughs, and having to play currently the number one defense in the league. So kind of just a really tough situation for him and for Tim Kelly.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that with, a little bit more time this week and then moving forward past this week, that they have some more time to develop and he can develop some more rhythm with his wide receivers too. You mentioned earlier in the night that Tim's offense is a lot of option routes and stuff like that. And I think that's the communication and that common thought between the wide receiver and the quarterback isn't there yet. Mm-hmm. We saw it with
overthrow to Cooks.
One throw to Cooks where the Cooks, fortunately, they called the penalty.
Yeah.
And then the one to Conley. So it looked like Conley should have sat or kind of opened up to the outside a little bit, and he didn't. He was still just going straight down the seam.
Miller. I think it was Miller. Yeah.
Was it Miller? I don't remember exactly who it was. I'd have to go back and watch. But yeah, just they got to develop that. That all comes with time and practice and stuff like that. So he'll be okay. And he's shown some promise, but he just needs some practice, man. He played 14 games in college, and he's got a lot of people pegged him as if he was going to be the guy that stuck around next year in college. He very well could have been the top quarterback coming out of the draft. So it's just going to take some time. I'm definitely not giving up on him yet.
Yeah, no, there's no, and I know you guys know that I'm not the highest on Mills, but never have I once sat here and said that he'll be a bust. Never have I once said that, I want him to fail or anything. He's a Houston Texan, and so I'm going to root for him and hope for the best for him. I just think that people need to temper his expectations, but I think it could have gone a whole lot worse for him tonight. And so this is, I'm going to wait for this donation to play. Thank you, Jerome, for another $7. And I think I missed an earlier one from Money Matt for the 10. Yes, sir. He says, Pat always telling how it is, 100%. And Jerome says, think we have any chance against Buffalo? Maybe with some extra practice, we can really come prepared. We'll get to Buffalo in 1 point. I just want to make this final Mills point. This is definitely, the foundation. We're laying the foundation for him, and it's a stepping stone that he needs to take. He has some confidence under him. He didn't shit the bed on prime time. Now build on it. Let's see the development that everyone talks about. Let's see you reach your ceiling, whatever that ceiling may be. I think he needs to, like Pat said, just get the playbook down in terms of the option routes, and start to anticipate throws a little bit better. I thought he did a decent job of it in the 2-minute drill when he went up tempo. But he's going to need to do that even better when they aren't going up tempo. And so some good things to build off of, and we'll check the film later in the week and we'll make a video on it for sure, to look at Davis Mills. But Pat, let's talk about really quickly, Jerome's question here says, think we have any chance against Buffalo? Maybe with some extra practice, we can really come in prepared. Yeah, we got the mini bye. This one's going to say a lot, again, about the coaching staff. It's going to say a lot about the coaching staff. Do they become complacent and take that extra rest, try and get everyone healthy, or do they really game plan hard and try and kick Buffalo in the mouth? I know we're the underdog again, but Pat, what is your early prediction for that game?
So I said it before the season started. I still think they lose it.
Yeah.
I know Buffalo is what 1-1 right now. That offense scares me.
They're a good team.
Yeah, they are. They are a really good team. They're a very well coached team. I think the score difference is probably going to be a little bit larger than what tonight's was. I don't know what the line is on it right now. I don't know if they've even got it up yet. Let's see. It's probably way too early to have that. Yeah, they don't have the spread up or anything like that. They won't have it until Buffalo plays. I don't know, man. Buffalo scares me. They're just a really good team.
Yeah. They really are.
I don't know. Unless if they can stop the run and force Josh to throw it, but then Josh can run too. So it's yeah, I don't think they stand a chance, honestly, man.
I was about to say they are probably the second best team in the AFC. I know we played the Browns close, and that was a lot to do with Tyrod Taylor. And if you had Tyrod Taylor for this Bills game, it would be a whole different story. But I need to see more of Mills before I start to pick these Houston Texans against, a top 2 team in the AFC for sure. So I think it's going to be another tough game for us, but hopefully we can keep it competitive. We talked a lot about the offensive side of the ball today. I think I'll just wrap it up with the defensive side of the ball. I'm looking over the box score really quickly. Zach Cunningham had 14 tackles. Christian Kirksey had 10. So it was good to see those middle linebackers, make some noise tonight. I think Kirksey did a good job of playing fast, getting into the backfield and making some impact plays. He had a TFL. He had another run stuff for 0 yards. So I thought he did pretty good. Cunningham, oh man, every time you watch the game, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, but I always feel like Cunningham leaves a little bit out on the table and leaves me wanting more. But then you go to the box score and the man has 14 tackles. I mean, to me, that really talks about how misleading sometimes the box score can be, because you look at the box score, seems like he played an amazing game. You watch the game, you know that he was out of place on some certain runs, couldn't get off some blocks on some certain runs, and got attacked in coverage. So what are your kind of thoughts on the linebackers and how they played today?
I mean, they did okay. They did a really good job of kind of holding their own and not letting any of the penetration getting to the second level really affect them. But Zach, and I don't know when he's going to take that next step.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, he got paid. I feel like earlier on in his career, he was doing some good things. But he had, a decent linebacker next to him. I think right now he's kind of, in my opinion, he's kind of being outperformed by some of these other guys. Yeah, he may be beating him out on the stat sheet, but I think these other guys are doing things better all around than what Zach is. And I don't know if it's maybe just because we're expecting too much out of Zach. But I don't know. I don't feel like he's living up to that contract at this point.
No, and it sucks to say I agree with you, because I've been a big Zach Cunningham fan. I love his athleticism. I think he has the potential to be, a perennial Pro Bowler. But we've seen he hasn't been the same guy since DJ Reader left. And we need that big defensive tackle to help Zach also stuff the run, and they worked so well together, and it just hasn't been the same. And like you said, he hasn't taken that next step, particularly in coverage. When we're talking about this Tampa 2 defense, so much is put on these linebackers to play fast in coverage, to feel route concepts, not let guys get behind them, and just seem time and time again that middle of the field, man. It was easy pickings. It really was. Oh, yeah. So I wish we could see more of Zach.
Not getting into the throwing lanes was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I feel like, you got to force you can't let Sam sit back there and, okay, if you got a receiver coming over the middle, he can't just have a straight line to him. He's got to have somebody in the way, hands in the air, or just being in position to force Sam to have to kind of put some air on the ball, and give your safeties and your corners a little bit of a chance to get there. Just that look, 1 or 2 split seconds to where they have a chance to actually make a play on the ball.
Yeah.
And it's just not happening. And a quarterback is just able to zip the ball straight to him, and it's brutal. It's tough. It's tough for everybody at that point.
It is. And thinking, in the future with this rebuild, needing as many picks as possible, if you get a deal and the price for Zach Cunningham is a 2nd-round pick in return, are you pulling that trigger, Pat?
How much of the salary are we eating?
Oh man, you thinking too much for me. Let me see what his contract is talking about. Let's say we don't need any of his contract. Let's say the opposing team pays it all.
And it's just a straight up second round
Just
pick.
a straight up 2nd-round pick. Because I'm not trying to get too in depth with this. I'm not a big salary cap guy, to be honest. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm taking it.
You're taking it, right? That's pretty good. 2nd-round pick, and they pay the contract. I mean, he's due. I'm looking at it right here. Let me put it on the screen. He is due. We're paying him basically $9 million this year, $10.5 next year, $11.5 in 2023, and then $13 in 2024. It's a lot of money for a linebacker in general, and it's especially a lot of money for a linebacker who can't cover.
Yeah. So if they trade him now before the deadline, or if they trade him in the off season. So if they trade him now before the deadline, they carry like 4.2 in dead for the next 4 years because of the bonus money paid out.
Just 4.2, or each year, you mean?
Each year.
That's what it is. Okay.
But the net savings 2022 is 10.5, 2023 11.5, and 2024 is 13.
Yep.
So you're saving close to $35 million. I don't know. I think it's tough. It sucks to lose somebody that has so much potential, but do we see him as part of the long term?
He's already 27.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Is he came in late, right?
Yeah.
He came out as a senior, so you got him late, and he's already been here for a few years. Yeah, I'm definitely pulling the trigger for it too.
2nd-round pick. Opposing team pays the contract. We will take the dead cap, but in the end, you're saving money, and I think you need that draft pick. Oh man, I'm very excited for draft season. Let's see what Nick Caserio can do. Where will he rank on the casserole scale? Very excited for it. Let's look through chat real quick. Anything interesting? Tight ends have been a no-show so far this year. I guess what I would say to that, Ja'Cory, is that the system that Tim Kelly runs and David Culley has brought from the Ravens, how they've kind of meshed that a bit together with the run game. The tight ends are here for blocking. If you can't block, you ain't going to play. And so they're not going to be featured much in the passing game. It's going to be Brandon Cooks heavy, and then it's going to be the slot wide receivers. We saw Danny Amendola come in here and quickly get accustomed to it and get targets. And hopefully now Anthony Miller can get those touches as well. So I just don't think the system is really in favor of, a receiving tight end like Jordan Akins. Akins dropping a lot. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the tight end group, Pat? Long term, do we got keepers here, or is it pretty much just, the Brevin Jordan show?
Brevin Jordan is the new Kahali Waring.
Oh, no. Like. Shut up, Pat.
Yeah,
don't do me like that.
You drafted this kid, and then he's been inactive so far this season. You bring Auclair off the practice squad for 2 weeks, and then you sign him to the active roster. It's just like, why? Like, what's the point of drafting this kid? I mean, if you're going to stash him, why are you wasting a roster spot? Put him on IR, stash him for the year. And that way it's, we're not waiting for this to happen.
Yeah.
It keeps screaming Kahali Waring to me.
I'm going to push back on this just because I really, really hope that's not the case. And I like Brevin out of college. I thought he was probably a top 4 or 5 tight end in that class, and a pretty good tight end class. And so he's basically a younger Jordan Akins. And that type of receiving threat tight end, when he's also a raw route runner, I would like to add out of college, a raw route runner, that type of, archetype, it takes longer to develop. And so I think that's why they're being a bit more patient with him. And they don't want to just throw him to the fire, and also because he can't block too well. So I hear where you're coming from, and the fact that, just redshirt him basically. But I think they want to be patient with him and then hopefully work him into the rotation, whether it's midseason, whether it's the last 4 games. But I think they want him, around the team, around the culture as much as possible, and working hard to, get into the rotation later in the season. They don't want to just say, oh, redshirt it, you're basically done for the year, like you're never going to have a chance. I think they want him to earn that spot later in the rotation. That's what I hope. I'm just hypothesizing here. I don't know shit, but I hope he's not a bust, man.
So you don't think that this offense has a real spot for him right now? What about so what's your thoughts on any of the other ones? Because like Farrell Brown, first game gets 5 catches, 60 something yards, looks awesome, right? Like we're super pumped about it.
Yeah.
He's come from being a street free agent to starting and kind of doing some really good things, and now he's gotten targeted once in the last 2 games and has no catches. Like what changed? I mean, because now all of a sudden Jordan Akins tonight was getting a lot of getting some of those looks, getting the opportunities, not really taking advantage of it. I just feel like they don't use their the tight ends enough, and maybe that's because they're trying to add protection to the line. But I think that's just another weapon they need to take advantage of.
Hey, I'm in agreement with you, and it's kind of funny because Tim Kelly is a tight ends coach, and so you'd think he would be a little bit more inclined to get his guys involved. But talking about the differences in how they utilize Farrell Brown and what happened between week 1 and now, I think I didn't watch him too much in the Browns game, but definitely in this game, his blocking hasn't been great. It was definitely a lot less consistent, and so to me, it looks like they weren't rewarding him. Sorry, how do I say it? I don't want to say they were punishing him, but it's like, if you're not blocking, if you can't do job number 1, I'm not going to let you get some scheme touches later in the game, because that's how he ate in the first game. And it kind of reminded me of how we schemed it up for Darren Fells a few years back, using the RPO game, and the tight end just runs across in the flat for an easy touch. It's not like we're using him like Travis Kelce or anything. Like, it's a very simple game plan. But I think what they're doing is, if you ain't gonna block, we ain't gonna get you the ball. It's kind of that thing, because that's their mentality, that's their culture. If we can't run the ball, they're not gonna be able to move the ball. And so I think that was kind of their way of maybe, getting some looks for someone else, getting to Jordan Akins instead.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I know Jordan had kind of fallen out of favor with the coaching staff at the beginning of like the voluntary workouts and stuff like that. Then he's kind of worked his way back, but I don't know. I feel like that's such an easy target for Davis to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And if they could do more of what they did tonight, where they did it a few times where they roll him out of the pocket, some small bootlegs, or just having him drift out. The guy can't, for whatever reason. I was noticing he has a really difficult time throwing the ball to the left.
Mills?
Yeah. But if they can take advantage of his ability to throw the ball to the right, and exploit the defenses with the tight ends, I think it'll just help him so much more. And who knows, we may see that coming out next week against Buffalo, and then against the Patriots after that. So it's still early on. I feel like it's just so weird that the tight ends looked so promising in week 1, and then all of a sudden now it's just they've been MIA.
Yeah, one thing to add to that is thank you, Matt, for another $10. Appreciate you. One thing to add to that is Tyrod. I think that's a bit of a Tyrod effect as well. I forgot to mention is that throughout his career, Tyrod's loved going to tight ends. And so it seems like he had built that chemistry, especially we saw in training camp. Like a lot of the Tyrod's, touchdowns that were being reported were to Akins, were to Brown, and he liked those guys, so he wanted to feed them. And so I think Mills in college, he was not a big tight ends guy. He was trying to go to his wide receivers. And something that he's missed so far is a big body jump ball threat. He killed with that in college to Simi Fehoko. He got drafted to the Cowboys. I was upset we couldn't take him because Mills likes to sling it deep. He's very willing. He's not scared. But you're not going to win many 50-50 balls throwing it up to 5'9" Brandon Cooks. Now, he looked like Superman versus the Jaguars, but those were a bit fluky if we're being completely honest. And so...
Yeah, that's where we're not having Nico is going to hurt.
Yep.
That would be such an incredible target for him to have at this point. And now he's stuck with, I think Conley's probably the tallest wide receiver that they have in the group.
And he's tall. He's what, 6'3", something like that. But he's not your jump ball guy,
Yeah, he's definitely not.
Yeah. And so to wrap this back around to the point that we were talking about with the tight ends, and getting them a bit more involved, I think it's especially going to be, hopefully can be seen more in the red zone, but get in 6'7", Pharaoh Brown some balls on some jump balls, line him up out wide, force a linebacker or a safety to go out and guard him, or if it's cornerback in zone, and then just try and have him kind of post up a little bit and get Davis Mills to throw it up. We know he likes to throw it up. Give him that big body target. That's one way that Tim Kelly can get a bit creative. Oh, my goodness. What a stream this has been. What a day. Where are we at? How long have I been live for? 42 minutes. Okay, not too bad. What was I about to say? Any more thoughts, Pat? I'm just going to open it to you.
I'm going to look at this real quick. Let's see, Pat. Next Gen just put out the stats. So they rushed 53.8% pressure rates on their blitzes. 3 of their 4 sacks were on blitzes.
The Panthers or the Texans?
The Panthers.
Right.
So this is against Mills. And so Mills only averaged 2.8 yards per attempt versus the blitz. And then 7.8 yards when not blitzed.
Yeah, so that's one of those things that I'm definitely really excited to watch for when I get the film, is how did he look in terms of diagnosing the coverages versus the blitzes, because we know that's something that Deshaun Watson struggled with early on in his career, and he improved on it. So that aspect of the offense is definitely, improvable, and I'll be interested to see, was it the wide receivers running the wrong route? Were they just not getting any separation? Or was Mills just missing those potential throws? Because 2.8 yards versus the blitz, that's what you said, right, Pat?
Yeah, 2.8 yards per attempt.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, yeah.
7.8 when they didn't blitz. So, and then the actual yards per play against the blitz was only 1.2.
Oh, my God.
And then when they didn't blitz, it was 7.2. So a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that has kind of followed Mills in college. When he has a clean pocket, when he has time to make his reads, he'll make the right read for the most part. But that's how most quarterbacks are, man. I'm under pressure. Your numbers are going to go down. And I think I'll save my judgment on what he potentially did right or wrong, but I think definitely the offensive line could have done a lot better in terms of picking up the blitzes. I think it was the first one of the night. They were in 5 wide, and they were sending 3 guys on the left side, and Tunsil had 2 to choose, and he chose the right guy. He chose the inside guy, but the offensive line, it needed to have shifted to the left. So I think that one was on Britt for not shifting that way. But hopefully this offensive line can gel and get together. That was the thing, is with all the injuries that they had, with Cannon being injured, with Titus moving back and forth, with Tunsil having COVID, they didn't get a great chance to mesh with these 5 guys. So hopefully it can improve over the season, man, and give Mills a chance, because they were not helping him out tonight.
Definitely.
Alrighty. Put Watson back on the field. Pat, we know you in the know, but Watson ain't playing another. Watson.
No, it's just not happening.
Yeah, it's not. He's not playing another snap in the Texans uniform. Would I be right to assume that, Pat?
Correct.
And it is what it is at this point. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of over it. I don't really associate him as a Texan anymore. And it's sad to say that because I think he has such a high ceiling, such a talented quarterback. But, I mean, it's hard to root for that guy right now with everything that's been happening. So, how do you feel about that, Pat?
You know, I've stayed indifferent on it all, the whole thing. The entire situation sucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
From a football aspect, I don't care the other stuff. I don't the off the field stuff. I don't talk about just because I'm not educated on it enough, and I just don't think it's my place to do so.
Me too.
But from a football aspect, it absolutely sucks because we know what he's capable of. We know what type of a player he is, and I think, you know, I feel like there's equal blame to go around. I don't feel like ownership should have ever given him that angle to hold that over their heads, that he should have had input, and not so much input, but his opinion heard on who, you know, could be the GM or the head coach. And I think it's wrong of him to assume that he should have that. So I think they both screwed up. I think the whole situation could have been avoided if they just never had promised that. And then, you know, we'd be talking, you know, who knows, he may actually be playing right now. But the entire situation sucks. It sucks for the fans. It sucks for the team. It sucks for him. You know, because he's the type of person that he's a competitor and he doesn't like to lose. And so I feel like in some way it's eating it at him from the inside, that he's not able to be out on the field and doing what he loves to do, and that's play football. And I know he's hoping that the trade happens soon. And so we can only assume that Nick is still working on it. And there's definitely teams still interested.
Teams plural.
So, oh yeah, there's definitely teams interested. It's just a matter of who has the ability to actually pull the trigger for the package that Nick is looking for. But there's been the one constant, and everybody knows it. It's been Miami this entire time. He wants Miami, and Miami wants him. So we'll just have to see.
We will just have to wait and see. Unfortunate, but I think end of the season, once the allegations are figured out, that's the next really like timestamp to look out for. But looking ahead to the end of the season, I know you're not a huge draft guy, but from what you've seen from college football, I mean, what you read, what you've seen on Twitter, who is your quarterback pick so far for this year? If you even want to go to quarterback, maybe you want to go someone else like
this Corral kid.
Oh, I'm loving him, man. Matt Corral, quarterback from Ole Miss. Ooh, he's been on fire so far. Let me get his stats up.
His name I just keep seeing his name everywhere. I don't think I've seen him in a game yet.
Okay.
I'll have to watch some and see what he's all about, man. I'm loving the fact that guys like Spencer Rattler and stuff like that are just in shambles right now. Something about that kid I didn't buy into the hype, and now it's like I feel a little validated by not buying into it.
Fair.
Man, I really want to look at some of these wide receivers that are coming out, just seeing who else they can add to that group.
Interesting. Okay. I don't think it's like a super stacked draft class in terms of the wide receivers. Like, I don't think there's a DeAndre Hopkins in this class. But yeah. I'm with you on that. I think definitely looking like long term for the Texans, it's Nico Collins, and that's pretty much it. You're hoping to get what you can out of Anthony Miller, and turn his career around, but it's nothing there is guaranteed. And so I think definitely pairing a speedy guy to complement Nico would be great. Looking at Matt Corral's stats, I'll share my screen for you guys. I love him too, man. I'm a big fan. throwing for 68% completion percentage through 3 games, 9 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. And that's just passing. He has another 5 rushing touchdowns, and he had 4 in the last game versus Tulane. So
he's a mobile kid, too.
He's a mobile kid. He's got some wheels. Everyone I know loves Malik Willis because he's got wheels, and I even have compared him to Lamar Jackson. But I think Corral has, a slight step down in terms of the wheels, but he's a better thrower right now and wins from the pocket better. So I don't know. I love those 2 guys a lot. They're my quarterback 1 and quarterback 2 as of now, but it's so early in the process, so we'll just have to wait and see. But those are the early names to look out for. I'm gonna end the stream here. Pat, you got any closing thoughts?
No, man. I'm just taking it 1 week at a time, rolling with the punches, and
Yes, sir.
And we're just having fun and riding the wave.
Yes, sir. That is all we can do. We've got a lot more weeks of football, a lot more weeks for the Texans to show us something and spark this rebuild, man. So that's gonna do it for us on the stream. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and follow us both on Twitter. Pat's doing writing for Toro Time, so check out his recent article on David Culley and be wary of more articles to come. And yeah, enjoy the weekend, y'all. I'll be back probably Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Wednesday with the video breaking down the game because they're not going to release the All-22 till Tuesday. But yeah, that's what the schedule looks like.
Hold on. You paid $180 for some UK version of the software, or what? What's going on?
It was $150 in pounds, so in Canadian it turned out to be like $250 or something like that.
Oh my god!
Right, and that's on top of the I think $115 I already paid for the US version, thinking that the All-22 would be there. So my pockets are hurting, man.
Good lord, y'all donate some money to this guy. What he's doing for y'all. Goodness gracious.
Oh man, anything for the channel, man. Anything for you guys. But in all seriousness, I love doing it. So it is what it is. The price to pay to invest into the channel and bring y'all content. It's fine.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, Pat. Have a good weekend. And I'm sure I'll talk to you later, man.
Awesome. We'll see you.
Take care. All right, stream. That's going to do it for me. Take care. Have a good weekend. Peace out.